Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Bright and early daily discipline. Mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Let's philosophize a little bit. Let's talk about survival qualities. Let's create a little list of survival qualities. What does it take to survive? What kind of person survives well? Well, let's go over it. You want to be decisive. Be able to make a decision. Be able to make a firm decision and stand on it. And if you made the wrong decision, you accept reality and you can just try to recover. If you go down the wrong path, you can turn around and say, well, yeah, I mean, geez, we did travel pretty far down this path, but it's obviously a dead end. This is not the right way. Got to turn around. And you just go back and start over. I've had to do this many times in my life. But you want to be able to be decisive and make a decision. This is important in business. A businessman who will fail is one who takes too long to make a decision. Now, it doesn't mean that you just machine gun your decisions, rapid fire, and just kind of spray and pray. No, you have to have some sort of plan. You have to have some sort of direction. Very oftentimes we may know a general direction, I'm going that way, but you may slightly miss the mark, in which case you have to just course correct. But I can think of countless times in business where, as the boss, I have to make a decision. A decision must be made. We have to move forward. The goal, the ultimate goal, is to move forward, is to make money and to keep this business open today and for the rest of the week and the rest of the year, and to survive with this. So I got to make a decision. If it's the wrong decision, which sometimes it is, you pay the price, but you have to keep moving forward. When you're indecisive, you're literally just stopped. You think you're being so smart because you're going to take your time to make the right choice. They'll teach you this in if you ever go to, say, sniper school, or if you're in the military in certain capacities, and they'll yell at you, pull the trigger, pull it. Pull that trigger right now. I order you to pull the trigger. You can't just sit there forever looking through your sights. You have to pull the trigger at some point. Another way that you can be good at your survival is always have a plan. You never plan to fail, you only fail to plan. And it doesn't always have to be the right plan. It doesn't always have to be the most well thought out plan, but a guy with an unwell thought out plan, a loosely based plan, is better than a guy with no plan at all, standing there just kind of looking up at the stars and then back down at his feet and being like, well, I don't know. I don't want to make the wrong decision. Don't want to do the wrong thing. And here's a guy with kind of a shitty, loosely based plan. He's got a better chance than you do, son. You never fail to plan. You never plan to fail. That's the old saying. How does it go? You never plan to fail. You only fail to plan. You never plan to fail. You only fail to plan. So have a plan. Another aspect of survival, which I think is important, is to be able to be alone. And be able to be alone by yourself for long periods of time without other people entertaining you or talking to you. Could you go a whole day without any human interaction, without anybody patting you on the back, without anybody saying, hey, what's up, or anything, without even seeing other people? Could you go camping by yourself? Would you be too scared? Could you just hang out by yourself? Could you go on a vacation by yourself? Some people can't. I know people, I have a buddy of mine who he can't be alone. He lives with his wife. If she's not home, he calls me or somebody else immediately. If he's home alone, he's just sitting around in the house by himself, he doesn't know what to do. He freaks out. He has to have other humans, other people around him at all times. Has to. If there's no one around and can't find anybody to come over, he'll just go out. He'll go to the mall and sit on a bench in the mall. He has to be around other people. So learn to be alone. Another aspect of survival which is important is to be flexible. This should have been number one if you wanted to put them in order. Flexibility is important. You have to be able to be flexible enough to go with the flow, to change your plan, to be able to take in new information, to be open-minded, be open to new things, open to signs and signals sent your way, open to opportunities. You have to be constantly looking for opportunities. If you're too rigid, you'll fail. An oak tree will snap in a storm. A palm tree won't. Why? Skinny little palm tree won't break in a storm. I got two in my front yard. They've been through every single hurricane that the state of Florida has ever had. They've never broken. I've had countless other trees break. I just removed two trees in the front yard because I was afraid that they were going to fall in the house. Cost me thousands of dollars. Fucking A, these tree companies, man, they just get you. That's a good business. Anybody want to start a business that makes money, go start a tree company. Jesus Christ, you'll get all my money. But those palm trees, they bend. Flexibility. That turns out to be a certain kind of strength. You think rigidity, being real rigid and hard, that's not strength. Being flexible is strength, at least when we're talking about survival. What's another way to survive successfully? Be under control emotionally. Oh, I've seen a lot of people just lose it, man. Just lose it. I can't take it. My brother has a really funny story where he was on a work crew, landscaping, with a company, large company, a bunch of guys on the crew. They were doing commercial properties many years ago. They were in downtown LA doing someplace. I don't know what they were doing, what property they were doing, but they were doing something. It was near downtown. It wasn't actually downtown. Near downtown, doesn't matter. Long story short, this one guy Giggles. They called him Giggles because he giggled a lot and he had a funny laugh. He had this giggle. And he's kind of a redneck. Oh, I could tell a bunch of Giggles stories. He was a real weird dude. But he got into an argument with one of the other employees over weed whacking. They were weed whacking. A couple guys on weed whackers, and weed whacker guys got into an argument over who knows what. Could have been over drugs, could have been over a chick, could have been over a football game, could have been over who's gonna whack that weed, I don't know. But they got into an argument, and long story short, Giggles fucking had an emotional breakdown, went berserk, literally, and stripped all his clothes off naked, and ran down the middle of the fucking street in downtown LA, down the middle of the street screaming, ah! And everybody just stood there like, what the fuck? He had the weed whacker with him, ran naked with the weed whacker, and the boss was just like, my weed whacker, what am I gonna do? Come back, I need the weed whacker. So have emotional control. That'll help you in your survival, especially in the hard situations when you run up tough obstacles. Another aspect of survival, which I can think of off the top of my head, is keep your mind on your job and off yourself. Don't think about your whiny little bitch shit when you're out there trying to survive. Think about the survival. What's the mission at hand? Chop that tree, get that water, kill that animal. Think about the mission at hand. Stay mission focused on the mission. Hyper-focused, laser-focused. Block out all the other bullshit, especially all the stuff about yourself. Start thinking about yourself too much when you're trying to work. Working hard is an aspect of survival. People who survive work really hard, diligently, and focused. The last thing I can think about with this, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22, but the people who survive the best know how to survive. My mom, before she was married, she dated this guy, Harrison, who's a Special Forces, what was he? It wasn't a Green Beret. Special forces. Here's something. Rambo for real. Real deal Rambo. And let me tell you something. These Rambo guys are not like Rambo. They're not real tough, macho, like jerks, like you might think, or some douchebag. This guy was Clark Kent. You would never guess. You would never guess that he's the baddest motherfucker in the room. You could drop him off on a hilltop in South America with a weapon and a compass. He'll kill everybody in a village and then be helicoptered off another fucking hilltop at a specific time. This guy was hard as nails. And him and his buddies, they were all little special forces guys, and they would take me camping on the weekends. And I would go often with them because I lived with my mom in the projects. And it was just a way for me to get away from that and to hang around with some men. And I really enjoyed it. And all these guys knew how to survive. They taught me how to tell time. I can tell time just by looking at the horizon. You know, the 3-finger method? I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about telling time on the horizon. Get your mind out of the gutter. They knew all the tips and tricks on how to survive. These guys survived well, easily. No big deal. Survival was easy for these guys. Really easy. Because they knew it. So study and learn. Learn how to survive in this world. You have free time? Go watch a fucking video. Food for thought.